And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at For the Crown, 2nd edition. Now, you have seen, we have done a review of the 1st edition on Miami Dice, me and Sam Healy, where it came in a bag, and we said that the game was very good, except that the components were absolutely stunningly horrific, to the point where I would not keep the game, as much as I liked it. The components have been vastly improved, and while I would hesitate to say they're great components, they're very good in this version. For the Crown is a 2-player game that is honestly Dominion mixed with chess. That's it. Nothing else. That sounds like a horrible concept, but it is not. I've already explained how to play the game in the original video, so I just wanted to point out a few things here. If you haven't watched the original video, this is essentially a straight-up mix of Dominion and chess. You're going to have decks of cards that are available on the table. Not as many. I'm showing you all the cards in the game. You'll always have these 4 decks here. The one that lets you play the Rook, the Queen, the Bishop, and the Knight, even though they're called Champion, Tower, Clergy, and Consort. And then you'll start with these 2 cards here, Peons and Guards. And on your turn, you will play these cards for sometimes their money value to buy more cards, or you will discard one of these cards permanently from your deck to put out the matching piece. So let's talk a little bit about these pieces. They're very nice pieces. They're woodcut, and they have the yellow on one side and white on the other side, so that, you know, both players can use the same piece. There's plenty of these pieces that come with the game. Because they use laser printing, the first several times you'll play it, you will find that you'll get black suit on your hand. I've played it enough now that on most of the pieces it's come off. Maybe we'll see it on a piece that's not used quite so much, but for the most part, there you go, a little bit, but anyway, not a big deal. It does come off after a while. The card quality is much better. I mean, overall, this quality is immensely improved over the original version, which was just downright terrible. The thing about this game is it allows you to get other pieces. Now, I remember thinking in the original game that there was not enough of these extra cards out there. I think they've added more. The problem is I don't have the original game. I couldn't find anything online that proves there's differences, but there certainly is a lot of unusual pieces. For example, this piece here, the Vigilance piece, when he moves like a knight, but moves twice. So, you know, hits twice. While this guy here, the Sphinx, he moves and attacks in first he goes straight one and then diagonal. So that's a pretty interesting and actually a pretty powerful attack. And so you have all different sorts of pieces. The armor here is one of my favorite because he can go 1 or 2 spaces in any direction. Basically, he's like a souped-up king, and that doesn't seem that powerful, but it really is because he can control a large swath of the board. And there's other pieces that allow you to do things like that. For example, up here we have the Chancellor, who can go straight or a knight. Basically, he's a mix between a rook and a knight. Or this piece, which is cool, can move 1 space in any direction, but when it's captured, you don't lose that piece. It goes back to your barracks, which means you can put it out on the board again. And there's still in this game cards that don't provide pieces. You know, false orders, that was in the 1st version, and games that pieces like here where I can march a heavy unit and then move another unit to an empty square adjacent to the unit that I just marched. So there's some interesting things here, and I just wanted to show you basically how the gameplay has improved. You can go back and watch my original review to see exactly how gameplay is. I just wanted to demonstrate. The board itself is made up of 3 puzzle pieces that are wooden, although the game also comes with a board if you just want to quick lay this out. I don't know why I never use it because this is so much nicer. But I wanted to give some analysis, so let's do so. Now, how has my opinion changed on this game since I've played it in the 1st edition to 2nd edition? Well, I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of new pieces. I'm just not sure which ones are which because I don't have them to compare. But let me say this. This game has really won me over. This is a fantastic game. It really is. And you would think that it wouldn't be. This is like one of those jokes. Let's mix Dominion with chess. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Wait, someone did that? Yes, and it works really well. The game has kind of this mental switch in it. The way it works is you're sitting there and you're playing Dominion, and about halfway through the game, you're like, okay, the Dominion part is over. Now it's all about playing chess. Maybe it's less than halfway. You need to know when to stop fooling around by optimizing your deck and getting your pieces out there. You can go for the quick win with pieces on the board, but your opponent will counter that. And this game has a very strong move counter situation, and once a lot of pieces get on the board, it can get very hairy. I think Dominion purists are going to dislike this game because they're focused on getting their deck together. And this game has that, but if that's all you concentrate on, you will lose. Chess purists are going to dislike it because what's all this nonsense? They just want to play with the pieces. But for people like myself who like Dominion a lot and deck builders and who like chess, okay, this is fantastic. Some of these pieces are just really cool. And I love the fact that I'm using my cards to build something up so that I can maneuver my pieces on the board better. I have played this game for 3 hours straight with another player, and by the end of it, I was almost sweating because it was so intense. So many times I could slip and make a false move, and oh, I can add another strong piece to the board, and my opponent has countered, and he has this piece, and what piece is best available to fight back to him? This is a cool game. Problematic that it's only 2 players and that it can be long and it can be intense. This is a heavy game if you get into it. I mean, chess is a very thoughtful, you watch a chess match and it's never very exciting because they sit there very silently and move their pieces. This game can devolve into the same thing. So hopefully you can tell from this review whether or not that's something that you would enjoy. I do enjoy it. In fact, I'm going to hang on to this game. There's not going to be a huge audience of people that I can play it with, but when I do find someone, man, the games are fantastic. For the Crown, 2nd edition. Better than the first.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door.